Hello everybody and welcome to part 2 of this, frankly, absolute train wreck of a scenario. So, this is recorded about 24 hours later, and long story short, I don't really have a plan. Looking at the goals, just to recap, we've got the $500 total profit for the orca, bottlenose dolphin and sea lion. I just need $500 for the sea otter, and I actually need to build a sea otter exhibit. The main problem at the moment is that the guests are extremely unhappy, and I think the main reason for that is because a guest comes into the zoo and they want to go to a particular show, but then there's another show on, so then they have to kind of make their mind up as to which one they want to actually go to, and they probably want to go to both, and then they get upset because they can't go to both, or something. So I think the simplest solution is basically bulldoze everything to do with the sea lion exhibit, or the sea lion show, or just like turn off the sea lion show, and then build sea otters over here. I am actually contemplating cancelling both shows, but then I run the risk of not making a profit. But saying that, looking at June, we're barely making a profit anyway. I mean, I don't want to just start this scenario again, and obviously if I do actually upload this video, that means that I didn't start the scenario again. But I'm thinking that, as I said at the start of part 1, having 2 show tanks is a really bad idea. But at the moment I see him in this weird, almost like a bug, where it's like guests desperately need food or a drink or the toilet, and they just get really angry and they're not actually doing anything in the zoo. Nobody's going to the petting zoo or the Japanese garden or the animal houses, so therefore everything's just crap, basically. So what I'm going to do is actually set this to never, so this sea lion show will never carry on. So there is no more sea lion show. And hopefully, the guests won't become like massively confused. Okay, the orca show has just ended, so I'm going to set these shows to never ever run. So at the moment we have no shows running at all. I'm also going to drop the admission price to $19, which I think is basically the same as it being free, just to actually encourage people to come into the zoo. Because right now we've only got a zoo rating of 76 and a guest happiness of 59. New guests actually have higher happiness than old guests. This zoo at the moment is actually making guests worse. These guests are basically paying to be miserable right now. That's how bad the situation actually is. But with any luck, the old guests will leave, and leave miserable, and then new guests will come in and people will actually start to use things. can sell all this stuff off. Unfortunately, I will need to actually have a show exhibit eventually. I'm contemplating just using this one. But at the moment, I'm going to have to pay for a lot of upkeep for a show that I'm not using. So I'm actually going to get rid of this. Yeah. If this doesn't work, then I'm basically screwed. That costs a fortune. Hang on. Deleting tanks in this game is not actually that easy. And I've just realised that this isn't like a complete exhibit, so I'm going to need to... Let's pause the game straight away. Right. Delete this, and then delete all this. Yes. And put that like that. So this needs to be renamed to Sea Lion Exhibit. It's a really, really good thing, and I keep saying this, but it's a really, really, really good thing that there's no time limit for this scenario. Okay, I can get rid of that. That gives me a bit of money, but unfortunately I now have this bottomless pit. I mean, it's not literally a bottomless pit, but I do have this pit that it's kind of like, I don't know what to do with it, and unfortunately it is going to cost me 6,000 to level it up. But I might as well put the sea otters here and then have the show here, and then maybe just put some grandstands over here and just do something like this for now. So I will basically have the sea lion or sea otter, not sea lion, sea otter show over here, but not at the moment. Okay, so like I said, we have no shows running at the moment. I'm not going to delete this, just in case I do decide to run dolphin and orca shows. Or just for whatever reason, like if the total profit drops below 500 and I need to start running, you know, dolphin and orca shows again. Okay. So, the present situation is we have 200... Well, a load of guests are leaving. Guests are leaving in droves. They're leaving way faster than they're coming in. Guests aren't really coming to the zoo. Or rather, they are, but not a lot. Yeah. But the thing is that all of these guests that are leaving, in general, aren't very... Well, I was going to say they're not very happy, but looking at it, unfortunately, a lot of these guests that are leaving are actually quite happy. One other problem as well is that it's entirely possible that there weren't enough grandstands, but then again, the shows weren't selling out, because that Sea Lion show, that Sea Lion show had barely any people actually going to it. Guests are saying the entrance fee is a really good value. That's the first time it's actually come up, so... Guest happiness is actually improving, because it was like 56 if I remember correctly. Now it's 77, so... The number of, like, angry, hungry, thirsty guests, etc. is dropping massively, because we did... And people are now actually using things like the petting zoo, and the crustacean house, and the animatronic theatre. You know, people are actually using things again now, because they're not so focused on just going to the show. Because, obviously, we don't have the shows anymore. Alright. So basically, life can sort of continue as normal again. And hopefully we can actually make a profit in this zoo. I might actually not... I probably won't actually need these eventually, so I can probably just sell these now. Because if people want the toilet, they can just use the restaurants. Yeah, guest happiness has improved to 81 already. I was going to say, we've got one thirsty guest, but they've actually been in the zoo quite a while already. Yeah, guest happiness is improving, as is zoo rating. I mean, animal happiness is 98, that's not a problem, animal happiness is fine. We only need 85 animal happiness, and, you know, the animals have never been unhappy, even when they were performing in shows all the time. That hasn't been an issue. Do I destroy all this? Or not? Because, bearing in mind, the upkeep is well, the upkeep is going to be quite high. $210 a month, but then the profit is so high anyway. It might actually be okay. Yeah, guest happiness is already up to 85. And we've only got one hungry guest in the zoo. And it's entirely possible that they're going to go home anyway. So, that just goes to show how badly the animal shows kind of mess everything up. I think just having one show is probably okay, but even then, the guests just sort of gravitate towards it and they don't actually use anything else. Just make sure, actually. Are the sea lions okay? 99 suitability, 99 suitability, yes, that's fine. Oh yeah, they still need to eat that fish. And then obviously once they eat the fish, then it'll disappear, and we can convert that into salt water. Because at the moment it's sand and therefore they're complaining. Yeah, guest happiness 87. So this zoo is actually, like, under normal circumstances, this is actually a good zoo because it's kind of got everything that they need. Apart from, you know, not having many exhibits, because we've only actually got 5 exhibits right now. I'm probably actually going to get rid of this, because I can't imagine that this is going to turn a profit, so I'm going to sell the Prairie Dog Cafe. And probably also just, like, destroy this. This guy is just wandering around aimlessly. Let's pick him up and move him over here. There you go. Because there's literally nothing to see here. Right, I can actually build the sea otter exhibit probably right now. I probably have enough. Just build it. So let us do that. So that's 9 by... Hold up. Uh, 9 by 9. 9 by 8. And then I think that lines up with that, so... If I do something like this, that should be okay. And then Go Marine Mania. Okay. So, we're going to need a filter there. So just put that like that. Right. Hopefully we're on the road to recovery now. If I can get guest happiness at 95, that would be great, because then I get an extra 25,000. One thing did occur to me as well was that if I was going to do this zoo again, there's actually nothing to stop you from just building Zoo Tycoon exhibits. You know, things like lions, crocodiles, Bengal tigers. Things that are actually really popular with guests. As long as you have 6 aquatic exhibits, you can build as many exhibits as you want, as long as you satisfy the objectives. I mean, yes, it's just like way extra money and extra time spent, but there's nothing to stop you from doing that. Alright. Now, what do these otters want? They want grey stone and salt water. To be expected, I suppose. Okay. So that is fine. Terrain-wise, anyway. Okay. Rocks. And they're going to need foliage, and they want beach grass. But I think you can actually use like, yeah, you can use like water lilies and water reeds and stuff like that. Can't put beach grass in here, which is a bit annoying. Because there's not actually much room, and obviously we need the zookeeper to have some room so he can actually put down the food. Probably need more, maybe more rocks. Okay, these guys want a lot of rocks. Okay, that's enough. So that's 95 suitability. What else can I do? These guys want a lot of foliage. "96 suitability. I think it's going to be really hard to get to... Okay, they like the water reed. They don't like the water lily. This is actually increasing the suitability. 98. Oops. "100 suitability, there you go. Not exactly necessary, but the thing is we've now actually done everything that we need to do. We just need $500 for sea otter shows. I'm not going to build that just yet, because I want to have as much guest happiness as physically possible. It's currently at 89. This zookeeper is going to need to be assigned to... Oh wow. Okay, he's the only zookeeper actually in the zoo, but he needs to be assigned to both of these exhibits. So this is Sea Otter exhibit. Also, one thing to bear in mind is that sea otters and sea lions can't do as many tricks as things like orcas and dolphins. So the shows, whilst probably still okay, probably weren't producing as much in the way of guest happiness anyway. Alright. So, unfortunately I'm going to have to pay a load in upkeep because it's like the end of the month. I'm actually going to keep it at $19 because we do want a lot of guests to come into the zoo, even though now that the guest happiness is 90, technically new guests are actually lowering the guest happiness. But so long as it stays above 85, it's all okay. So yeah, like, it's just turned October. Last month, 24 people went to the Japanese garden. That's fine. 30 at the petting zoo. 25 at the crustacean house. Which I just realised is not... yeah, we need to change that up. Okay, I don't know why that was... I can only assume that when I set this up, the last crustacean thing, yeah, spider crabs of the North Atlantic, wasn't actually researched. That's the only thing I can think. Either that or it's just an oversight on my part. Okay, now, obviously I still need $500 from the Sea Otter show, but... do I want to run shows at the risk of seriously ruining my guest happiness? Or do I just destroy this? They do make money, yes, but they could ruin the guest happiness completely. And at the moment I'm paying a lot of upkeep just for something that's not really doing anything. Yeah, $210 in upkeep for something that's not actually doing anything. I could make a lot of money back for just destroying all this, which I think I'm going to do. So I'm going to save the game, and I'm going to destroy this show. And then... this isn't going to be the easiest thing in the world to get rid of. This tank. Get rid of that filter. We still want guests to come over this way because we want the lobby's restaurant to be profitable. So I'm wondering what I can put in here, and I'm thinking like another exhibit. Because over here, there's kind of, well, I was going to say there's kind of no reason for the guests to come over here, but obviously we've got, or we will have the sea otter show, and we do have the sea lions and the sea otters. Whether they're actually popular with guests or not, I don't know, but it's also possible I might want to put in another exhibit over here. And like I said, I can put whatever I want in here. So I could even put like a lion exhibit in here. Or like a saltwater crocodile or something. Which actually probably isn't a bad idea, because they are fairly cheap. And they are popular with guests. But then again, lions also breed a lot, and I can make money from selling baby animals. Wow, this sand path is really annoying. I'm going to change this up to brick. Just as much as I can. Yeah. I said it in the last part, but like, I did that to save money, but now it just looks really kind of bad, and to the point where I can't even tell what's sand and what's sand path. Like, yeah. Huh. It's going to cost a lot of money, but I think we are actually making quite a bit of money anyway. I say that, and then September we actually barely made a profit. No, actually I don't think we made a profit in September. That's a bit worrying. Okay, I might have to... I don't know. If we're not making a profit, then that's real bad. Okay. Hide the buildings and everything, just so I can destroy this show tank. I mean, it's not essential I destroy every single last bit of it, but it does give me a bit of money back for destroying it, so I might as well. I just hope I can actually salvage this, and that this isn't just, like, beyond repair. Because if my zoo's not currently making a profit, then I'm kind of fucked. And annoyingly, I can't see what I'm doing. There is a bit of... yeah, I was going to say, there's a bit of show tank over here, but I can't easily get to all of this. Okay. Brick path, brick path, brick path. Let's put everything back in. Okay. So, yeah, it looks a bit ridiculous right now. Actually, one thing I could do... I don't know, I was actually thinking, like, do these guys poo, and therefore could I put in a compost building? But I don't know if these guys actually poo. But I guess if I'm going to be building, like, lions and crocodiles and stuff like that, then I could put in the compost building. Just a thought. I can't see why this zoo wouldn't be profitable, but at the same time, marine zoos are a bit weird. I really hope I... actually, guest happiness 93. I was going to say, I really hope I can get to 95 guest happiness, because that's an extra $25,000. Guess it's only a one-time prize or award, but you know, every little bit will help, obviously. Okay, I'm actually out of money now. 94 guest happiness, so yeah, it's looking like I'm probably actually going to hit 95 guest happiness. So, the zoo rating and the guest happiness have massively increased, but whether or not we're actually turning a profit, I don't know. I could increase the guest admission price to $29, and we would probably still have guests coming into the zoo. I'd have to assume that people are using this restaurant, but I can't know for certain. If they're not, then I might end up selling it. Although that guy's just gone in, so... people are using it, but is it actually making profit? And like I said, once again, and I keep saying, I'm so glad this scenario doesn't have a time limit. Because we're coming up for almost 2 years now, and I've still got a fair bit to do, unfortunately. Guest happiness has dropped to 93. I think that's probably just... we've got a lot of guests in the zoo. This fish is almost gone, and like I say, when it does go, then I can change that up to salt water. Yeah, I guess happiness has gone back up to 94 now. And back down to 93. If it does hit 95, it'll only be temporarily, but that's all I need. Because literally the instant it hits 95, then I get $25,000. Which will be very welcome indeed. Yeah, right now the zoo looks kind of odd because I've got... I mean, ignoring the fact that I've got a bit of sand path and a lot of brick path. We do have a giant hole which will be filled with the sea otter show, but we've also got this giant hole here, and I don't really know what to do with that. I mean, I could put like a marine exhibit in there, but it would have to be something that requires quite a big tank. How big is that actually? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 by 4. Plus 5 by 3, so that's 36 plus 15, which is 51, which is actually really small. So if I did put anything in there, it would have to be something that doesn't really mind having a very small exhibit. I could do more benefactors, but I don't really know how I'm going to do that. We've got 320 guests, but we've only got 25 benefactors. So we do need more money in terms of donations. I think increasing the admission price probably would not affect the number of guests coming into the zoo that significantly. And it would give us an extra $10 per guest. It's only a few hundred extra a month, but it could help. Because at the moment, I'm really not sure if this zoo is actually profitable. One would assume that it is. It's also possible I've got too many restaurants and they're sort of conflicting. I don't think there's any way to know how much profit these buildings are making, like, at this very moment, rather than just, like, on average and overall. I mean, the guests are happy, 94, and they don't need, you know, food, drink, toilet, anything like that. It's just whether or not we're actually making any profit, you know? We do have a lot of guests now. Zoo rating 86, but I think that's just literally because we don't have many exhibits. If we built more exhibits, then I could increase the zoo rating, but fortunately zoo rating is not one of our requirements. I can't imagine that this restaurant right now is profitable. Because we need like 20 people to go in it every month just for it to make a profit. I can't imagine that 20 people are actually going to be using this restaurant, but I'm going to keep it anyway. Just in case, because it's possible it is actually making a profit and I just don't realise. Like I said, I don't really have a plan, and that's probably becoming very obvious. This is like the first scenario where I don't have a plan. After this, I think there's quite a few scenarios that are probably quite straightforward. But for now, it's like Yeah, really struggling, honestly. That is path, right? Yeah. Alright. That I think is now all the sand path converted into brick. Like I say, it wasn't urgent that I did that, I think it just increases guest happiness a tiny bit. I think guests kind of just become happier walking on like brick path and cobblestone paths than they do walking on like dirt and sand, which makes a lot of sense because I don't really fancy trekking through dirt when I go to the zoo. I want a nice brick path or cobblestone path or something. I just wish I could get guest happiness 95. And also, actually, just check the finances. Are we actually making a loss? Actually, not many guests are... Well, we're only halfway in December, but I was going to say not many guests are actually coming into the zoo. If we look at November, we did actually make a profit. We did make quite a bit in donations. Yeah, donations is what's obviously keeping us afloat. I'm going to increase this to 29. Because I can't imagine that at $29 we're suddenly going to see like barely any guests coming to the zoo. So we're actually coming up for year 3, which is something that I don't think we've ever seen in a scenario. Yet, anyway. Obviously later on there are a lot of scenarios that have a time limit of 3 years, so, you know, year 3 will become a lot more prominent. But for scenarios where there's no time limit, I've generally beaten them pretty quickly. And obviously scenarios that have a time limit of like 2 years or 18 months take 2 years or 18 months. It's not a problem, obviously, because we don't have a time limit. I just really want this $25,000 grant. The Santa Claus. Only 4 days late. Right. I'm still on the fence about building, like, a Zoo Tycoon exhibit just to possibly increase the guest happiness, because it will cost a lot of money, and it's debatable whether or not it actually will increase the guest happiness. And I'm still on the fence about this actual restaurant, because I think it is actually probably making a loss. If I sell it and then destroy... I really don't need all this path, to be honest. That gives me more room to build an exhibit as well, because that's now 6 by... Just check. Okay. That is 6 by 14. Which is 84, and that is big enough for a decent exhibit for like lions or crocodiles or something. It would cost quite a bit to build, but it could be worthwhile, and also it would actually give people a reason to go to this restaurant. But saying that, I think people just go to restaurants and seek them out anyway if they're hungry, so... Okay. So, if we actually just look at December, we made $350, but we did also spend $5,600, so we're making a small profit. I'm kind of surprised that we're not making more, to be honest. But like I said, we're not making much in terms of donations. Which is annoying. I think marine animals, just in general, aren't very popular, which is really dumb. Zoo Tycoon animals in general are really popular. Like, no one cares about these sea otters and sea lions. The dolphins... Yeah. Okay, the belugas are very popular, as I expected, because I think beluga is the most popular animal in Marine Mania. But I reckon, if I built, like, lions or something over here... or crocodiles. Lions or crocodiles? Let's go with lions. Okay. Like I said, I don't really have a plan. Okay. So I'm going to need another zookeeper. Lions actually kind of require quite a bit in terms of care and attention from zookeepers, because they do poo a hell of a lot. And also, obviously, they breed a lot, and, you know... Like, they're very popular with guests, yes, but, oops. You know... They seem to poo a lot, for some reason. And also, you don't want, like, overcrowding, and... If that could just increase to 95 and give me $25,000, I'd be really, really happy. But sadly, it's not looking like that's going to happen. Let's put in some guest signs. Also have to hope that... I know obviously this is not going to happen, this is just me having a bit of a dark sense of humour, but... there's a giant cliff there, so any guests walking along this path, please don't fall into the bottomless pit. And then sue me for negligence or something. Okay, we've got an ill beluga, that's not good. I mean, when this beluga grows up into an adult, it's going to get sold off anyway. Come on, marine specialist, hurry up. Heal that animal. Yeah, guests are becoming unhappy because they're seeing the ill beluga. Okay. Wow. A lot of guests are becoming unhappy because that beluga was ill. Guests really don't like seeing ill animals, which, you know, makes sense. And also because, like, baby beluga... Oh, for fuck's sake, now I've got an ill dolphin. Alright, where's the ill dolphin? It's being healed, at least. Okay. Let's put him in the orca tank. No, he's exiting the exhibit there as well, so let's put him in the dolphin tank. Alright, fine, let's just put you over here. Okay. So guest happiness is now increasing to 92. Right. Still need more money for this lion exhibit, which I'm still not entirely sure why I'm building it, but I think I'm just building it so that the guests possibly become happier and maybe want to donate to the zoo. Because lions are very popular. Like I said, I don't really have a plan. I'm just sort of making this up as I go along. Like I said, really all I need to do 6 different animal species. What are you talking about? I've got 6 different animal species. Oh, for God's sake, the sea lions have died! Yeah... Frank... Okay. That's bad. Sea lions have a really short life expectancy for some reason. Yeah, and also I don't have any money right now. Yeah, I should probably research into this. Okay, let's look at January. Wow, 62 people came into the zoo. And ignoring construction, we actually made like $10,000. Admittedly, we made a bit of money from recycling benefit. Like selling animals or destroying stuff. Okay. I need rocks and I need some foliage. And then obviously I need the actual lions themselves. So I probably don't have enough money to do all this. Damn, these trees are expensive. They cost $210. I wonder if I could just get away with the thorn bush. It's a lot cheaper. Okay, well let's put in... Damn, lions are $700. Alright, let's put in a male lion at least. Not enough dirt, too much sand. Damn. Alright. Bearing in mind, this is an intermediate level scenario. And yet free admission, which people say is like really difficult, is also an intermediate, and I had no trouble with that one. And yet this one, no, it's disgusting. But like I said, it's entirely possible I've just made a load of mistakes, and I've made like every mistake possible with this scenario. Wow, I'm really low on money right now. I guess this gives people a reason to go to the restaurant over here. And lions, I believe, are popular, so with guests. Alright. You can be assigned to the lions. No, don't go to the sea otters. Alright, fine, go to the sea otters. What do the sea otters want anyway? Guess happiness is 93 right now. And also we need another female. Okay. Suitability 97. Suitability 98. Dolphin complaining it can't find any food. Marine specialist needs to give it some food then. Okay, what's the suitability like now? 99. Wait. Yeah, 99. Okay, that'll do. The fountains are lovely. Well, at least somebody appreciates them. Right, we're going to need more sea lions. Nutritional animal food now available. Zoo rating is still 86. How much are sea lions? Let me guess, they're a lot. Oh, 700, that's not too bad. Okay. Right, so that satisfies all the goals again. Besides, obviously, having 500 profit for all the sea lions show. It could end up being like year 4 by the time I actually win this. I believe... I was going to say, I believe now that I can win. It's just a matter of time, and unfortunately it's going to take quite a while. But anyway, let's look at February. That is 8,000, 9,000, plus... Yeah, okay, we made about $10,000 in profit. Obviously we're not making any research right now. Maintenance workers will repair exhibit fences faster. Obviously I do want that. Even if the only actual exhibit fences that I have are over here, it's still useful to have. The main thing as well is I want maintenance training 3, because that means that they can fix or service like tanks quicker. Tank filters. Okay, guest happiness is back up to 94. Literally as soon as it hits 95, I will get $25,000. Zero rating has gone down to 85, but I think that's just because we've got ill animals. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it's gone back up to 86 now. I think every ill animal you have in the zoo, no matter how many animals you have, no matter how many guests you have, every ill animal seems to decrease the zoo rating by 1. Whether you've got... I think if you've got like 2 ill animals, it might not actually decrease it by 2. But certainly if you've got at least 1 ill animal, the zoo rating does drop by 1. So scenarios where zoo rating is a factor, you know, if there's a scenario where you've got to have 90 zoo rating, ill animals will kill that. And obviously the more animals you have, the more likely you're going to have one that's ill. Yeah, sell that one. Do I only have 1 sea lion at the moment? I think I do. Yeah, okay, I need another sea lion. So I need a female sea lion. Can these fish please go away? Been there forever. I could get more tour guides. I don't, like I keep saying, I don't actually know what tour guides do really, but I think maybe more scenery, just, you know, that might increase guest happiness. Can't hurt, if anything else. Just make the zoo a bit nicer to look at. Utilise every square possible, really, in making the zoo look a bit prettier. Because I don't think you have to pay any kind of upkeep on this sort of stuff. And it possibly increases zoo rating a tiny bit if you have enough of it. And it might just make guests a tiny bit happier. Oops. Right. It's not much, but it might just help enough to push it over to 95 guest happiness. And like I said, if nothing else, it does make the zoo look nicer. I don't think there's any obvious buildings I can put in that I haven't already got, you know? These guys don't seem to poo either, which is really annoying, but the lions will. So let's get the compost building and put it over here. Oh, there's not enough room over there. Okay, let's put it over here. Because we're not going to build over here, so that's not a problem. Save the game. Okay. This scenario, if you include parts 1 and 2, is now like 3 hours long, almost. So that's pretty damn long. I really didn't think this would be as difficult as it's proving to be. Oh, for God's sake, is that orca ill? No, it's just... Yes! Finally! 25 grand for 95 suitability. 95 guest happiness. Okay. Right, let's get some... let's save the game, actually, and let's build the sea otters show. Okie doke. It's going to be really difficult to do, because I can't really see what I'm doing. Right. Now. Yeah, there we go. Ooh. Actually, having the sea lions there as well is kind of a good thing. What the hell's this marine specialist doing? Oh, hang on. I just realised these marine specialists were assigned to the shows, which I don't have anymore. Okay, so beluga and hammerhead, yeah. Dolphin and orca, right. So, we want one to do this show, and then this one, I guess, they can do all 4 of these, or I just sack them. Because I don't want this marine specialist to be doing the show. I realise it's not a good idea to have 4 exhibits on their agenda. So I'm actually going to remove hammerhead and beluga, and then I've now got 2 on the beluga, 2 on the hammerhead, but only 1 on each of those. As far as zookeepers are concerned, I've got 1 on the lions and then 1 on sea lions and sea otters, because I can't imagine that sea lions and sea otters require a great deal of care and attention from the zookeepers. They're probably quite manageable with just 1. Okay. So we're going to need some grandstands. Let's unpause actually. So hopefully we will actually win this scenario before the end of the year, maybe. I mean the in-game year, not 2022. That would be very silly. And guess having this actually just dropped a bit. But it doesn't matter because I got the 25,000 anyway. Okay, so sea lions, sea otters, charge 750 for both. Right, we're going to need sort of, well, sea otter stuff. I don't think... No, sea otters... Can you research sea otter tricks? Oh, you can. That's a slight issue. But I don't need an advanced trick area, which is nice. I suppose it doesn't matter too much if the sea lion show's not very good, because we don't actually need more money for the sea lion show. So sea otters, sea otter hoop. That's actually the only things that the sea otters need. So the sea lions, meanwhile, and the sea lion raft. Okay, so the sea otters, backflip, wave to... well, actually, let's just do it this way. Backflip, hoop jump, slam dunk, wave to crowd. Backflip, hoop jump, slam dunk, wave to crowd. Okay. 500 guests in the zoo, unfortunately I didn't give any money. Sea lions, meanwhile, wave to crowd, breach, squeeze horn, beach ball, surface spin, wave to crowd, breach, squeeze horn, beach ball, surface spin. Okay. So yeah, literally the only thing I need to do now is make sure I keep a profit, make sure I keep 85 guest happiness, and then make $500 for the sea otters. And we are also going to need a filter for this tank, which I'll put over here. And I'm going to save the game as well. So there is a show starting, and it's the sea lions. That's... not a problem. I'd have preferred it to be the sea otters, but it's not a problem. I just hope that the guests actually stay happy enough. They should do, because we only have the one show. I mean, we have two, but it's in the same, you know, it's only one show tank. I think the problem before was that we were having two show tanks, and the guests were just getting really unhappy and confused. Just going to level up this terrain as well. And then put more paths in like this way, so that any guests that want to go to the show can use. That was a really short show. Did it end prematurely? What? Why has it only got 2 tricks? Right, sea otters, it saved that, fine. Sea lions, for some weird reason... I don't understand. Right. Okay, wave to crowd, breach, squeeze horn, beach ball, surface spin, yeah. Wave to crowd, breach, squeeze horn, beach ball, surface spin. Okay. Right. So sea lion 28, sea otter 26. Why has it now gotten rid of it? Is it because... Is it because he's about to do another show? I don't understand this. I'm actually just... You know what? Sea lion show, never run, right? There is no sea lion show, it's only a sea otter. No, not never, actually, never. No. No. Fuck. Right. Like I said, this is a frickin' train wreck. Okay. What I actually wanted was the sea lion show to never run, but the sea otter show to run. But unfortunately, the way to do that would be to... If I lower this? No, that doesn't work. Okay. Right. I solemnly swear that I am not an idiot. Right, squeeze horn, beach ball, surface spin. I just don't understand why it wasn't saving all this. Right. Surface spin. Okay. Good. Right. Sea line 28. Close. Sea line 28. Sea otter 26. Sea line 28. Right. Now it's saved. So why did it not save before? Please tell me this next show is going to be sea otters or something. And also, do I put a swim shack or something here, or is that not enough room? I guess it is technically enough room, so I'm going to put a swim shack in there. And it can be salt water. Right. If it doesn't make a profit, then I'll just get rid of it and put in like a fountain or something. And also I just realised I think I've... Yeah. I blocked the entrance by accident. Okay, let's charge $7 for that. If it makes a profit, great. If it doesn't, well, then we'll deal with that. Okay, guest happiness has dropped to 92. We did have an ill dolphin, but I think... Yeah, he seems to be fine now. I just hope that the guests don't get really unhappy with all of this. Like they did last time. I think only having the one actual animal show will help. Okay, it's a sea lion show at the moment. It is actually sold out. But I can't do anything about that because I can't put any more grandstands in. At least they're actually doing a proper show this time. Yeah, no, now you see we're getting a lot of hungry guests who are very annoyed. I'm going to get more tour guides. I don't think that will help, but... So we've got 532 guests. When I have tour guides, I tend to have about 100 tour guides... Sorry, 100 guests per tour guide. So I'm thinking maybe 6 tour guides? Yeah, guest happiness is dropping, but I think... Hopefully... Yeah, you see... People are also going to get annoyed because they want to go to the show, but they can't because it's sold out. Which is annoying. Okay. The sea lion show is very profitable, but... I think as soon as we have a sea otter show, maybe 2, we'll be fine. as long as guest happiness stays above 85. Nobody's using the swim shack at the moment. I do know that swim shacks can make a profit, but nobody wants to use this one at the moment. I'm wondering if maybe they need a bigger area to be able to swim in. Or maybe just people don't really want to use the swim shack. I don't know. Oh god. I seriously hope I haven't just like massively fucked this up. Because obviously we had 94 guest happiness and it's just dropped at 89 because everybody's getting really hungry. I could do with this sea lion show ending and then the sea otter show starting as soon as possible. Nobody seems interested in my swim shack, so I'm contemplating getting rid of it, but I'll leave it a bit longer. The restaurants do have a limited capacity as well, which is a bit of an issue. It is a big capacity, but obviously it is limited. Just putting a bit of, like, extra scenery here and there. To hopefully make guests happier, because 87, yeah, this is the stupid thing about shows. They ruin guest happiness, which then ruins the zoo rating. And there's really not much you can do. But it does basically prove that it is the shows. And I've only got one, so I can't be like, oh, well, you should only have one at the moment. You see, the problem is that you had two. Because, literally, these guests come out the show, that show was pretty good, but he's hungry, thirsty, needs the toilet, and he's just generally pretty unhappy. Yeah, now I'm just getting a load of guests that are hungry, thirsty, and need the toilet. Okay, it's more profit for the restaurants, but it means I've got a load of unhappy guests. Shows in this game are either broken or I'm just not doing them well at all. I don't need zoo rating, thankfully. Yeah. I think it's going to be above 85, but... Oh! I've actually just won the scenario. I don't quite know how, because we haven't really done any sea otter shows, but, well, I'm not going to complain. It means that this scenario is finally over. It only took 3 hours and 13 minutes or so. Wow. Okay, well, I guess I can stop complaining now. The scenario is finally won. I don't really have anything more to say, so I guess I'll just end the video now. Thank you so much for watching, if you've watched both parts. Probably not the best way to do this scenario. I'm sure that there are probably quite a lot of people that have done this scenario in less time, both physical time, like, you know, less than 3 hours, and less in-game time, you know, less than 2.5 in-game years. That's really surprising. Like, what's triggered that? Because we haven't actually run a sea otter show yet. Maybe it's getting really confused and it's thinking that, you know, because this is like my first sea otter show, it started counting the profit, but it's also counting the profit for the sea lion as well. I don't know, but whatever it is, I'm not going to complain because it means that I finally won this stupid scenario. And like I said, if there was a time limit on this, I would have probably failed because the time limit would have probably been like 2 years or something. Anyway, Thank you so much for watching. I will see you all in the next video. Take care, have a lovely day. Like, share, comment, subscribe, all that usual stuff. Bye, folks.